the qualification itself. It's 4 units. It is designed specifically to look at the knowledge and theory and practice of teaching and learning for dance in children and young people, high level of practical dance teaching and facilitation of learning in contacts, interpersonal communication skills, reflective and analytical skills, and transferable skills. The candidates who do this qualification will need to demonstrate all of those things. Let me just take you quickly through the units because we want to have time for questions and answers. Unit 1, it's about teaching and learning in dance, and in this the candidate will reflect on and develop their knowledge and understanding. And it's about planning and supporting learning, managing and evaluating, creating and performing and appreciating, and diverse dance and inclusive practice. Those are those key professional areas that the candidates look at. And really we're looking at this as being the entry unit. Ideally, we think a candidate, especially if they're taking it as a young candidate, should do Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4. What we have required is that they take the first 3 units before they take the final unit, which is the teaching and practice unit. But we recommend that any candidate does that teaching and learning in dance, those basic knowledge and skills of teaching and learning in dance before they move on. Now, again, if you're a professional practitioner who's been out in the sector, and we had that in the pilot, quite a few Yorkshire Dance, they said, we don't want to do those written things yet. We want to do Unit 4, which is teaching and practice. And that can work. We still recommend they do the first 3 units first because there's that bit of context and reminding going on. The second unit, which is professional knowledge, it takes you into strategy, context, formal, informal education, all the legal compliance and policies, safe and effective dance principles, and professional conduct and competence. So it's setting it in your sector, really, what you're doing. Unit 3 is that critical reflection. It's the role of observation in improving dance teaching and learning and reflecting practice. And what we ask, it's a very small unit this, but what we ask the candidate to do is to look at dance teaching in 2 different settings. We had a discussion about the word context and the word settings, and I think it's settings. So, for example, they might observe teaching on a CATS programme and teaching in a prison programme or youth justice, and compare them and look at what is best practice, effective, ineffective practice, and how that. So that's the reflective part. Unit 4 is teaching in practice. That is when we go out and we actually look at the candidate in a teaching situation, and there is also a viva that goes with that. So Trinity, everything else, the candidate submits their materials to Trinity College London. With that Unit 4, we go out and we actually look and talk and see. And this is something that, again, the problem with this is it suddenly becomes expensive. And we had a lot of conversations about that, because it would be a much cheaper qualification if they sent DVDs of their teaching into us at Trinity. However, we had long discussions and we all felt that didn't matter. We have to really assess teaching, to really be able to put that standard point on and to be able to say this is a good teacher who knows what they're doing. We actually have to see them in their teaching situation with the people that they're teaching, the young people they're teaching. Okay, assessment. I've talked a little bit about this. Everything except for that Unit 4 is submitted to TCL. We've tried to make assessment, and I'm not going to go into it, but it is in the qualification, which you have in your packs. We've tried to make it as flexible as possible. So rather than, saying to, again, people who've been out there in the sector for however long, go back and write us a 3,000-word essay, a candidate, we have portfolios, we have teaching plans, there are all sorts of different ways that we are evidencing the knowledge, not really the learning, but the knowledge of the candidate. And there are short essays, and actually Unit 3 is quite a large essay, but a candidate can actually submit a presentation to DVD. So they can do a film presentation, they could film with that Unit 3 if they're going to see the two different contexts. They could show some of those contexts on a DVD and then talk about them. So there's a flexibility in the way we assess, so that hopefully, you know, candidates will feel confident that they can show their knowledge in the way that is most suitable to them. A little bit about our assessors. I talked about it earlier, but we don't provide any training. We have assessors. The assessors for this qualification will all come through discussion with DTAP, so that we know we are getting the assessors that are absolutely key and right. We will train them when we standardise, we moderate all of the work, and we standardise our assessors annually. I think I've talked about that. Achieving the qualification. There are two different ways that somebody could do this, and again, I've sort of covered it. A candidate can and the website is live, so they can go on the website today, and they can download the form, they can register for assessment, and they can say, okay, I'm going to do this. Equally, there are registered centres, and registered centres are organisations who will do some of the work for us. They will gather bunches of candidates together. They will help us to organise that Unit 4 assessment. They will make sure that those materials are all, you know, have all the evidence with them and the material, everything that we need, and they will send us those materials. They will support our assessors when they go out into the field to assess the candidates, and so it's a one-point stop shop, I think is what they call it, for a bunch of candidates. That registered centre could or may not be a training provider. It's up to the registered centre. A training provider will provide training, and I did speak about this earlier, so I won't go into it too much. It could be an organisation such as Laban, who are going to be doing different kinds, I think, of training. It could be an organisation such as a national dance agency. And how they deliver training is entirely up to them. They will have a relationship with us purely as a registered centre in supporting the candidates. There is more about this in the qualification, and there will be more on the website. And if anyone is interested in this, we will be holding a providers' day. Actually, we will be holding regular providers' days. But we haven't actually confirmed the date in July. So let me know, email me or email Trinity. And if you're interested in clarifying some of that, come and we'll talk through what a registered centre might be, and also different ways that somebody might be able to want to provide the qualification.